Hello, this is Tom again with Four Boxes for the second video of the channel. I appreciate everybody that came out as I requested and watched the video, hit like. Majority of you, well, probably about a quarter of you actually, that watched it, subscribed. I really appreciate that. I don't know if that's a good percentage or not, but whatever. I really appreciate it. So anyways, this is the second one, and like I said, I was going to go through the boxes first, sort of give you an intro as to what I'm talking about. So the four boxes of liberty, we talked about the four in the intro, and so we'll talk about the first one this time, and that's the soapbox. And just to let people know what it is the soapbox was approximately, from what I've read, an 18-inch box that soap used to come into, through the 1800s for the majority, in the early 1900s, and was roughly, like equivalent to the milk crates of today. How, as a, kind of a joke, college students steal them and make furniture out of them and that kind of thing. So the milk crates, we use them for toting things, storing things, all kinds of versions like that. And so equivalent basically to that. They were enough to support a man's weight, and you could carry it around pretty easily. And they were known for people carrying them to meeting places or places where lots of people would be gathered, and they would stand on them, and they would either preach if it was a religious thing. They would do sales, they would give political speeches or so forth. And so that's what they mean by being on your soapbox, is giving a speech or advocating something or selling a product or something along those lines. So that's why it became known as the first box of liberty, is you have to use your voice. We have to use our voice, and it's not just our representatives. Our voices are what echo and reverberate up to our elected representatives. Because as you know, we elect them, and sometimes they don't do what we want. Well, guess what? They have to know what we want. It's not just we want you to represent us. They have to somehow know. Also, the soapbox is about influencing. Well, first off, how does it get to the reverberation point of affecting a politician? It affects a politician because it's a buzz. People are hearing about it. We hear about, what's the buzz these days? And that just means, the thousands and thousands of voices talking about the same thing creates a buzz, is the idea. So the idea is we have to spread ideas of liberty. We have to spread warnings about a tyrannical government or anything going on that would decrease our liberty or steal our liberty. That's the goal here. That's the goal of Four Boxes of Liberty, is to educate about the boxes and how so many things in our American life divide into those four boxes, and given each category and the purposes of that category, how to use those to increase liberty in our country and to be able to pass it on to our children and grandchildren and so forth. We have to educate. People have to understand what liberty is and how to protect it. And box number one is the soapbox. You have to talk. Now today, in the founding generation, there were newspapers. There were what they called broadsides. There were pamphlets where people would write their little thing. Then they would have to pay to get it published. Then they would hand it out, or they would, glue it to poles and buildings and so forth, and handbills. All of those things were newspapers, of course. But of course, your average person didn't get to say what they wanted in a newspaper. But back then, people would buy newspapers just specifically to make them say what they wanted. But obviously, that would be people with money. We have a bigger voice now in 2018 than I guess anybody in human history's had. We have social media. Now, those of you that know me on social media know that I've been doing this political type thing like I'm doing here for a long time. And some people don't like the amount I do or what I say, and they end up unfriending me and all those sorts of things, which I'm sure you understand. But you've got to at least spread the word some. I get tons of people that will like what I say, but they do not share anything on their own. I'm not saying share everything. I'm not saying share everything that you see that day that you like. But when you see something that educates and preaches pro-liberty, you've got to share that. You got to take your hits among friends and family. That's the way I see it. We've all got to be a little bit political, or simply accept where we're headed. Those are your two choices. You either allow the slow erosion of liberty, or you do something about it. And the easiest thing to do, the first step, is box one, the soapbox. You have to begin to speak. If you can speak publicly, speak publicly. If you can speak in conversations with your friends, do it that way. Educate people, I don't mean shove things down their throat. Simply throw it out there. I'm a firm believer that the truth is a thing, and if you put it out there, it'll do its own work. It's like seeds. You have to sow the seeds of truth, and they embed in people's minds, and they grow. They hear things that reinforce what the truth is, and then it grows. You know, it gets watered and it goes on. So, anyways, I wanted to keep these videos kind of short. So. Here's the idea. The soapbox is your First Amendment freedom of speech rights. Freedom of speech rights as protected by the First Amendment. But you got to use them. You got to use them, or else they mean nothing. You don't wait to start screaming until something's happened. We need to start doing a broad general education of the American public, and at least out of those of us that believe in liberty, we have to at least talk amongst ourselves and begin to understand more and more what liberty is. Then you've got to be able to throw, you know, if you got 10 posts on Facebook, start making 1 out of the 10 something political that reinforces, by political, I mean, you know, what the general person would call political. Not all of it is specifically politics. Sometimes I'm talking history, concepts of free government, concepts of liberty, like I said, warnings or little trip flares as to what the government's doing or trying to do in your local government, federal government, etc. It's simply about us speaking out in a way that increases the understanding and the appreciation of liberty, and therefore strengthens our freedom as it is currently protected. And that's what we want, right? We're not trying to start revolutions. We're not trying to overthrow anybody. We have plenty of room left for doing absolutely nonviolent, purely legal means. We have at our disposal without going any further. And that's where we've got to go. First, we got to understand what liberty is. Second, we got to understand the things that secure liberty and protect liberty and promote liberty. And third, we got to understand the things that take it away. And we have to speak about all of those. We have to tell people what it is, help them understand what liberty is. We got to help them understand the things that promote it and secure it. And we got to show them the things that take it away from us. And as more people know, that voice will grow, that buzz will grow. And I think our biggest problem is nobody knows what liberty is these days. They don't understand it. They don't realize when it's being taken away. So that's what this is about. So anyways, there's Soapbox 1 in a really quick down and dirty idea of why I think it's important and why I want to talk about it on here, and what we can do without spending any money, without changing hardly any of our lifestyle, without putting much at risk. But if you're going to be a proponent for liberty, if you're going to fight for liberty, there is going to be some risk eventually. You are going to have some people that get upset with you over some of the things you say, but it's either worth it or it isn't. You make up your mind on that and act accordingly. But thank you guys very much for tuning in for the second video, and I appreciate your time. I really do. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe, and please hit notifications so you know when there's a new one. Thanks a lot, and we'll be up in a couple days for box number 2, which is the ballot box. We'll see you then.